some of the new.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I'm can't really fucking help. These guys do nothing still. Hi, man. That's about it, boys.
So Overwatch 2 has been out for just over 2 weeks, and I think it's safe to say that the game had a good run. There were some good times and some bad times, but ultimately the game ended up flopping pretty hard, and not even within its first few days of its release. If you've been browsing around YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, around the gaming topics section, you would know that Overwatch 2, since its release, has been in this very controversial state. And it's not the good kind of controversy. But then again, what kind of controversy is good? From the game's servers being down for a while, to unnecessarily long queues, to people having connection problems, to your standardized bugs and glitches that every game has once in a while, to people just realizing that gameplay-wise, that Overwatch 2 is basically just Overwatch 1 with just a few minor tweaks. I mean, if you've seen the reviews people are giving this game, it's just god-awful. Now, if you don't know what Overwatch 2 is, or just Overwatch in general, Overwatch is a first-person shooter game that was created by the company Blizzard way back in 2016. Now, Overwatch was not your typical first-person shooter game like Call of Duty or Battlefield. It was kind of different. You can choose from a roster of characters, each of them having a special ability that differs from the other. Honestly, just think Team Fortress 2, but just on crack and a little less fun. Crack! There's a variety of different game modes to play on Overwatch, and not to mention this game was one of the most popular and well-known first-person shooter games within the year of 2016 all the way to 2018. I mean, the popularity for this game was insane. There were tournaments held, dozens of supporters for the game, and content creators you know today like XQC built their career around Overwatch. The game ended up winning tons of awards, and the reviews were just amazing. Overwatch was essentially the golden ticket for Blizzard. I mean, Blizzard was kind of falling off due to the fact that they only had a handful of shitty games. So if it wasn't for Jeff, who basically came up with the idea of a first-person shooter game, then I'm pretty sure no kid of this newly found generation would have any idea what kind of company Blizzard is. Pretty sure if you would ask a kid before Overwatch came out what kind of company Blizzard is, they'd probably say something like they make products like fridges. There's also the fact that Overwatch was Blizzard's most successful game ever. Now, one of the ways Blizzard kept people captivated to Overwatch, along with introduce new people, was that they would introduce new characters to the roster every now and then. And the way that they would introduce set new characters were through these cinematic animated shorts that essentially added this sort of lore and story not only to the character, but also the game itself. Many people who didn't even play Overwatch just liked the animated shorts that Blizzard would put out for Overwatch. But like every other game, the player count started to decrease for Overwatch. Now, this was due to many reasons. One is the fact that Blizzard just stopped putting out Overwatch as much as they used to, and essentially just stopped putting out characters or any major updates to the game. Another is the fact that Overwatch just could not compete with any of the newer games or newer first-person shooter games that were coming out around that time. And the last one, probably most common answer that people give, is the fact that they just got tired of playing Overwatch, just got bored and moved on to the next game. For me, it was the fact that I had the game on the PlayStation 4, and I really wasn't down to pay $11 a month just to play Overwatch, or really any online game on the PlayStation. So, yeah. But yeah, that was kind of it for Overwatch 1. It kind of just died off, and people moved on with their lives. The only time you ever hear people talk about Overwatch 1 were those YouTubers that made Rise and Fall videos, and those videos made more than a quick buck. For a few years, it was silent when it came to Blizzard. That is until Jesus Christ came down from the heavens and blessed us with an announcement from BlizzCon. Overwatch 2 was in the making. The One Piece is real. They honestly did a great job presenting the game, honestly. They showed a cinematic animated short for people who cared about the story and lore, along with showed the gameplay and what the game had to offer. Other than your basic standard modes like PvP and PvE, the one that I was most intrigued for, along with many others, had to have been the story mode. So now that Blizzard had shown us what Overwatch 2 had to offer, all we had to do was wait. And wait, we did. Out of the 100% of people who were stoked to play Overwatch 2, I would say about 45% of the people still remembered that this game even existed and that it was coming out. The marketing for Overwatch 2 was just terrible, and the only reason I even remembered this game was coming out was that the fact from time to time I would see the Overwatch 2 cinematic trailer in my recommended tab on YouTube. It wasn't until the last few weeks of the game's release that Blizzard really tried to push out Overwatch 2 to the public. And then on October 3rd, 2022, the game finally released. And then not even a few days later, all hell broke loose. On day one when Overwatch 2 was released to the public, the servers were down. Apparently some hacker attacked the Overwatch 2 servers and just annihilated everything. And this is not just some attacker attack that Blizzard could fix within a few hours, because the servers actually got attacked twice. And it really wasn't a good look for Blizzard. Many people were tweeting and complaining how the game is ass, even though they couldn't play the game. And they're even saying how Blizzard could have let this happen. Now, I'm going to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt just because stuff like this happens actually a lot. Hacker attack is something that happens a lot to online multiplayer games. But because the server were down when the game was supposed to launch to the public, people were just heated and needed to vent. And of course, the best place to do that is Twitter. Now, once the servers were back online, Overwatch 2 was back in business, and everything should have run smoothly after that, right? Well, surprise, surprise, everything did not run smoothly. There were a lot more problems than just the servers being down. One problem was the fact that you had to wait a long time just to get into a match. I don't know about you, but if a queue for a match takes longer than 3 to 4 minutes, then we have a problem. Some people could not download or even log in into the game for some reason. There were bugs and glitches that made the game not as fun, and not to mention that in order to play Overwatch 2, the game required you to have a phone number. There's just a lot to unpack, really. For the bugs and glitches, the most common one that I heard about and the one that I've actually witnessed had to have been the Bastion glitch. For those of you who don't know, Bastion is a character from the roster you can pick from in Overwatch 2, and essentially his ultimate is where he can launch these missiles that are really destructive. It's a really powerful ultimate, and someone managed to actually glitch it so that they can spam his ultimate as much as they want. Now, once people reported this glitch, instead of Blizzard fixing it right away, they actually had to temporarily take off Bastion from the roster due to the fact that they already had a handful of problems than just this one character glitch. And it really wasn't a good look for Blizzard. Then you have your basic minor glitches that every game has from time to time. Then you have the problem of trying to transfer your account stuff from Overwatch 1 all the way to Overwatch 2. Now, when I heard this, I was a bit confused, wondering why this was even an option. I mean, I get it, you've been grinding on Overwatch 1 for years and you want to use some of your stuff from the first game to the second one, but they're both two different games, right? Well, apparently the Overwatch 1 servers were taken down around the same time Overwatch 2 came out. Meaning if you're a person who actually liked playing Overwatch 1, you can't anymore due to the fact that Overwatch 2 is out, and Blizzard pretty much just said, well, Overwatch 2 is out, it's better, so, let's just take down the servers for the first game. Which, based on how Overwatch 2 has been running so far, I think it's far from the truth that Overwatch 2 is a better game. But then again, the main aspect for Overwatch 1 is the characters, and all the characters from Overwatch 1 have been moved into Overwatch 2 with a bit of a different look and new skills. But there's the fact that I paid $37 for the game 5 years ago, and I'm just wondering what the return policy is. Now, thankfully, Overwatch 2 is free, so anyone that has access to a console or computer can run this game. But if you're a person who actually played Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2, then you would notice a few things. Mainly the fact that Overwatch 2 is basically Overwatch 1 with just a tiny bit of tweaks. It's not 100%, more like 98%. The game mainly focuses on the characters rather than the entirety of the game. They added new skills and looks to the characters that got moved from Overwatch 1 all the way to Overwatch 2, like Tracer and Winston. They also added some new characters that weren't in Overwatch 1. Now, personally, after playing and analyzing Overwatch 2, I think it's safe to say that this is a game that did not have to be made. The way they made Overwatch 2 was that they copied 90% of Overwatch 1, tweaked it up just a tiny bit, and just pasted it to the world hoping that they would get an A. But little did they know that there were glitches and bugs within the system, therefore people could not overlook, giving this game a hard F. It's a really funny thing because Blizzard really thought they can get away with it. The people who made the game really didn't see the major similarities between the first game and the second game. And the people who can't see that Overwatch 2 is basically Overwatch 1 are probably those hardcore competitive players. You know who I'm talking about, those people that probably get wet when they find out they hit that silver rank. Now, Overwatch 2 was supposed to have this story mode, and this was the aspect of the game that I would probably really enjoy, along with many others. As of right now, the story mode is not in Overwatch 2 right now, and there's been no information on when it will be out. So, that's great. I mean, I do love playing competitive mode. I love playing those sweaty, toxic players I haven't played in a long time. It's a good refresher.
Could you stop fucking throwing? We have a chance, god damn it. Fucking baby.
Now, I'm not trying to say that Overwatch 2 is a completely garbage game. It's just that me and a lot of other people expected more from this sequel. And I don't mean more as in skins and the shitty battle pass. By far, Overwatch 2 battle pass is the worst known to mankind. There's only 2 free skins in the entirety of the battle pass, and they're both just completely garbage. And like, who asked for a camouflage skin for Winston? If you expect to actually get some good stuff after grinding into this game, then think again. If you actually want to get some good stuff like skins and what's not, you actually have to pay for it with your actual money. And the challenges you complete in the game just go straight to a battle pass EXE stuff. Now, Blizzard hasn't been trying to fix these issues over the time the game has been out, but I think it's safe to say that Overwatch 2 is a lost cause. We all thought that Overwatch was coming back with a banger, only to be let down completely. To really sum up Overwatch 2, it's a game that should have not been made, mainly due to the fact that the features that are in Overwatch 2 could have been implemented into Overwatch 1. Like, you don't see Epic make Fortnite 2. They instead do seasons and chapters for Fortnite rather than make an entire standalone sequel. And I get it, when it comes down to making a sequel or franchise for a first-person shooter game, there's just only so much you can do. Unless the game is something like Call of Duty, because that is a first-person shooter gaming franchise that has branched out longer than it needed to be. Isn't there like a new Call of Duty Modern Warfare game? How many games does Call of Duty have? They have about 19 games. Okay, that's a lot of Call of Duty games. But the thing about Call of Duty is that they managed to bring something new to the table, mechanic and gameplay wise, that everyone enjoys. What Blizzard ended up doing when creating Overwatch 2 is they mainly focused on how the game looks rather than how the game feels gameplay wise. And it's for that reason and that reason alone that Overwatch 2 basically flopped. But yeah, that's kind of it. I didn't really feel like making this a long formatted video or making a deep dive analyst video on this game, just because there are hundreds of videos like this on YouTube more professional than this. So if you came for a more professional video, I suggest you go click on another one. Then again, this video is almost over, so might as well like and subscribe. I would say that there's hope for this game, but no, there's no hope for this game whatsoever. I give it like a month or two before the game falls into complete irrelevancy. The only thing to look forward to are those animated shorts that Blizzard would put out. But yeah, that's kind of it.